Welcome, everyone. Sorry for the delay. We had some technical difficulties with the streaming software, but we are all back. Welcome to what's the second installment of our first monthly Board and Dice demo day on Tabletopia. Very excited that you could join us, whether you are watching this live on the Tabletopia Twitch channel or after the fact. This month we are learning and playing Traintopia, which is our upcoming release. Will come out in May, which is a fun and fast-paced tile placement game. And it's also worth mentioning that today we opened up pre-orders for Traintopia. So if you want to go check that out on boardanddice.com/shop for the US store, and otherwise for our international store, just at store.boardanddice.com. We will also have a special coupon available for everyone who is participating today with us on Tabletopia, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But for now, I am your host, Rainer Alfors from Board and Dice, and I have a very special guest with me today, Stella from Meeple University.
Hello, Rainer.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for joining me today.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. And today, during this live stream, we're going to first just give a brief overview of the game, talk about the rules of the game, and then we will be playing a few rounds just so you can see the game in action and get a feel for how those rules come into play in actual gameplay. And then the plan is originally the plan was for this stream to take about an hour. Because of the technical difficulties, we will probably try to make that shorter to respect everyone's time as well. After we are done with this teach and demo, then those of you who are signed up on Tabletopia, you will be divided into groups. You will be assigned to a game table. There's a Discord channel that you can use for voice chat. And we will also be available there to answer any questions and so forth. And details about this should have been sent via email to all the participants as well. But without further ado, let's get into to the game. So what you see here is basically... so this is the layout of the game in Tabletopia. And I'm going to go over... briefly just an overview of the game, which is basically Traintopia is a country of clean, efficient, and fast public transportation. But now you need to grab your thinking caps and be ready to build routes for commuters, tourists, and goods, and also create a futuristic train paradise to become the greatest conductor. During the game, you will be drafting different game elements. There are tiles, there are different other components that you will see, and we will go over in detail what each of these components are and what they do. But there are map tiles, there are tourists, which are these white meeples, and there's a bag here which holds commuters. And we also have mailbags and trains, which we can draft and add to our individual network that we are building. The map tiles, they help you grow your networks. As you can see here, I have set up a little sample of what my network would look like right now. So when you draft a tile, you will be adding it to your network, expanding it, expanding your tracks, adding stations, and also providing different colored districts and landmarks for your passengers to visit. The tourists, the white meeples, they provide victory points based on the landmarks that can be found along your track. So as you can see, some of these tracks here, there's a landmark, there's one over this one, and there are several landmarks available on the tiles that are ready to be drafted. Commuters come in 3 colors. So in this bag, there are commuters that are both green, yellow, and gray, as you can see on this card here. And those will come out randomly, be drawn randomly from the bag. They score victory points based on matching districts. So there are gray, yellow, and green districts that are available in your network, and the commuters will score victory points based on those. The trains that you draft and place into your network will score victory points based on money tokens that are available along the route. And finally, the mailbags, they will increase the victory points that you score from the tracks that you have completed. A game of Traintopia takes place over a number of rounds, and depending on the number of players, it's either 8 rounds in a 2 or 4 player game, or it's 9 rounds in a 3-player game. Every round starts with the preparation, which is basically involving drawing a round card. You see there's a set of round cards here, and then we will be laying out elements on top of the round card, as well as tiles, and it's dependent on the number of players. So you can see here, this round card says that we will be adding 1 tourist. We will draw a random commuter of one of those colors. It will be a train and a mailbag. And because we're playing a 2-player game, 5 tiles will be available for drafting. During the draft phase, starting with the current first player and then going clockwise around the table, we will draft either wooden elements from the card itself or tiles that are laid out on the table. We will continue to draft these elements one by one until just a single element remains, whether that is a tile or a wooden element, at which point we will proceed with cleanup and then prepare for the next round. When you draft a map tile from this tableau, you will immediately be adding it to your network. So let's say that I took this map tile. You can freely rotate it, and in Tabletopia you rotate it with Q or E is the easiest. You can also right-click it to have access to different rotation commands. And then you can place this tile any way you would like within your network. There are only a couple of rules that you need to keep in mind. You cannot lay the tile on top of existing tiles. It also has to be placed somehow adjacent to tiles that you already have in your tableau. And also you cannot place it so that a track just results in a dead end running into the side of another tile. But I could freely place it down here, for example. I could also rotate this tile, place it over here. I could even place it on the side like this. I don't have to expand an existing track if I don't want to. Most of the time, however, I do want to expand and continue a track that I have previously placed. Sometimes, some of the tracks will have a money symbol on them, as you can see right here. When placing one of these tiles, immediately after placing it, you will take one of the money tokens from up here and simply placing it on the tile as I have done with these 2 previously. And we'll talk about what these money tokens do a little bit later. All the wooden elements, when drafted, are also placed in your network, but they have to be placed on an existing track. And it's important to keep in mind that you can never place 2 identical tokens on the same track. So I can never have 2 commuters of the same color, or 2 tourists, 2 mailbags, and so forth. The commuters, as I said previously, they come in 3 colors. The moment that I place a commuter onto one of my existing tracks, I will score victory points. In this case, because this commuter is green, I will score 1 victory point for every green track, or for every green network along that track. So as you can see on this tile, here is a green network. There are 2 on this tile. There's 1 down here for a total of 4 of them. So this placement will give me 4 victory points. Now if I would have placed a different commuter, let's say this yellow one, I would have scored 2 victory points because there are only 2 yellow districts along that track. Some of the districts may be mixed districts, like these ones here. So you can see this one counts as both yellow, green, and gray, and they would score for either type of commuter. The tourists, which are these white meeples, they don't score based on the color of districts, but rather they score based on different attractions that are visible along the route. So if I were to place this tourist onto this track, I would score for this attraction and this attraction. Each of these, in this example, are worth 1 victory point. But it's possible that I would have had another tile over here, and that would have given me 2 extra victory points. So the tourist, you will look at all the attractions that are available either orthogonally or diagonally along the route anywhere. That also means that if, in this case, I would have placed this tile down here, at the bottom of this track, and let me rotate it as well. So this case, even though it's on a different tile, but this is still diagonally adjacent to the same track, and that would also have given me 2 extra victory points. Now, whenever you score any victory points, you will also come back up here and take these victory point tokens. So there are some here, value 1, value 3, 10, and 15. You can exchange these if you want to make more manageable amounts of victory points. Now, mailbags and trains, they do not score any victory points immediately when being placed, but rather they give you additional victory points at the end of the game, and I will come back to that as we talk about scoring. As I mentioned previously, the drafting phase will end when there's just a single element left. That could mean that maybe we have drafted these tiles already, and we have drafted the train and the mailbag, so now there's just, actually I moved that one off. Maybe there's just this tourist left there. Whatever the element is, whether it's a tile or a wooden element, when there's one left, that will signify the end of the draft. At that point, we will remove this round card, and along with the corresponding token that was left, whether that was a tile or something else, and it will simply be discarded and not used again in the game. At that point, we draw another round card if there are any remaining. We again set it up the same way, placing wooden elements onto the card, laying out the number of tiles, and we start a new draft. Now, at some point, we're going to be out of round cards, and that signifies that we are very close to the end of the game. So if no more round cards are left, there's just one step that remains, and that is a bonus draft. You see here on the side, there is an endgame bonus card. Right before we will be scoring victory points, we will be drafting one element each from this card. We will first look at how many victory points we have, so add up the victory point tokens that you have, and compare it with the victory points of another player. Whoever has accumulated the fewest victory points up to this point will get to draft one of these elements first. Now, both the train and the mailbag, they function exactly like the other ones that come out during the game, but let me talk about these other 2 elements. So first of all, we have this purple meeple. The purple meeple is a railway inspector. The railway inspector can be added to any track. So if I go back here to my tableau, I can add it to any track, and because it doesn't match, it's not identical to any previous ones that I have placed, I can place it on another track, even if I've already placed commuters and tourists and so forth. The railway inspector will score just as if it were a commuter, any color of my choice. So I could place it on this track and either score green for 1, 2, 3, 4 victory points. Maybe I want to score gray instead, 1, 2, 3, 4 points. I get to choose one of those colors, whether or not I already had one commuter of that color placed previously. Then this little tile. So this is a much smaller tile, and this one is called the railhead. And this is a special station that can be added anywhere in your network. Now, when adding the station to your network, as long as you don't place it on top of an existing tile, the placement is always considered correct. That means that there could even be a piece of track that runs into the side of the railhead. Now, the railhead is useful because it will allow you to complete a track that you were maybe unable to complete previously during the game. After the bonus draft, now it is time for final scoring. On your player aid, you have here a reminder of the different victory points that you can score during the game. First, we're going to score victory points based on the completed tracks. Now, as you can see here, we will score different victory points based on the length of the track. Basically, how many tiles are part of that track. In the event of certain tiles that you might actually be able to build through multiple times, like this one, it's possible that I built a track that came and entered this one, then I built a loop, and it comes back and re-enters this tile. I only get to count that tile once for endgame scoring purposes. The longer the track, only 2 to 3 tiles, you only score 2 victory points. 4 to 5, 3 victory points, and so forth. It caps out at 8 tiles, so if you have a track that is longer than 8, you're only going to score 8 victory points. But now, as you can see over here as well, we have some stations depicted. Everyone is going to start with a station on their starting card, either red or blue, or sometimes it might be a multicolored station, which is also the case for this railhead tile. It counts as either a red or a blue station. When you're scoring your track, based on whether the ending station, or I should say the starting and ending station, are the same color, then you score this row, so 2, 3, 5, or 8 victory points. If they are different colors, then you score these victory points instead. So you want to have your tracks start and end with different colored stations. Now, if you have a mailbag on that track, this will double the victory points. So as you can see, it's very important to make sure that you're placing the mailbag onto a track that you think that you can complete, and hopefully you can also complete with different colored stations, because that will maximize the amount of victory points that you score. Now, at this point, we will also count money tokens that are next to any tracks where we have trains. Simply count, each money token can only be counted once, and it doesn't matter if it's next to 2 separate tracks that have trains on them. Like in this case, if I would have placed this train on this track, I have over here I have 1 money token, and over here I have another one. But let's say that I had another track that went next to this tile and had a train here. This particular money token can only be counted once. You will see how many money tokens you have total within your network, which are next to tracks with trains. 0 to 1, 0 victory points, 2 to 3, 4 victory points, 4 or more, 10 victory points. Next, count the number of tiles that are part of the longest track. And it's important to note that this track, it doesn't have to be finished. We're only concerned with the longest track. And again, we're counting tiles using the same method as before. Whoever has, in a 4-player game, the longest track will get 6 victory points, second longest, 2 victory points, third longest 1, and fourth will get 0 victory points. In a 3-player game, we do not give out the third placement, so it would be 6, 3, or 0, and in a 2-player game, only the player with the longest track would get 6 victory points. The one that is last gets 0. And finally, we're going to score victory points based on completing an objective. At the beginning of the game, every player will be given a personal objective. They will look like this. In this case, my objective is to have a max of 3 tracks. If we were to look at this particular layout, I have more than that. I have this longer track, and then I have this little bit, and this one, because I haven't connected them. Now, if I didn't add that piece, I would have exactly 3 tracks, and in that case, I would be able to score 10 victory points. Some of the objective cards will ask you to have a certain number of districts. It could be that you need to have a certain number of wooden pieces onto on your track, or that you have completed a certain number of tracks, and all of them are fairly self-explanatory in on the card and how many victory points that you get for it. At this point, the player who has the most victory points is the winner. And if there's a tie, the player that was earlier in turn order, so closer to the current starting player, breaks that tie. Now, before we begin the game, let me just explain real quick these money tokens. On the other side of your card, so one side looks like this, it has the final scoring reminder. The other side shows you a reminder of what happens on your turn, as well as what you can spend your money tokens to. Each round you can spend 1 money token for each of these, so you can spend a maximum of 3 money tokens during the round. The top one is probably the easiest. It says you can draw a new objective card, and then you discard down to 1. Maybe you're not really happy with the objective card you got, you don't think that you can complete it, or you just want to see what other options you have. You would draw a new objective card from here, and then basically you get to choose one of them to keep, discarding the other. So in this case, maybe I want to try to have 3 closed tracks instead of the next 3. The second thing that you can do is you can buy a bonus tile from the offer and add it to your network, or you can choose any color and score a commuter when you're placing a commuter this turn. Now let me give an example for both of these. So first, when it comes to placing a bonus tile, those bonus tiles are also here at the top of the game screen. These 10 tiles are the same tiles that are available every game, and they are simply laid out here, and the cost of acquiring one of these is simply 1 money token. You return a money token to the supply, and then you take one of these, placing them using the same rules as we described previously. Now, as you can see on some of these, they offer either a greater variety or more victory points when it comes to attractions, or maybe like this one here, you would get 3 yellow districts, or maybe some that provide the multi-districts and so forth. So these ones, they will give you very specific options to enhance your network as you're building it. And then the final option for spending a money token is, as it says here, you can choose any color to score when you're placing a commuter. So as I mentioned previously, you can only have 1 wooden element of each type. After I place the train here, I can never place another train on that same track. If I have a mailbag on this track, I cannot place another mailbag. Now, in this case, maybe I wanted to draft, let's see if we can take a gray. Alright. If I took a gray, here we go. Here I have a gray commuter. Let's say that I drafted the gray commuter. And, or maybe actually an even better example is I had previously placed a gray commuter, but now I drafted a yellow commuter. I can place the yellow commuter because I do not have a yellow commuter previously on this track. However, both the green and the gray districts, they would score me more victory points. So as you can see over here, I have 4 green districts and 4 gray, but I only have 2 yellow districts. I can spend a money token when I'm placing the yellow commuter and decide I'm not going to score yellow districts, instead I'm going to score green districts or gray districts, thereby giving myself 4 victory points instead of the 2 that I would normally have scored for placing the yellow commuter. And finally, when you are drafting, this is normally not a good idea to do in the draft, but if you feel that none of these components are going to help you, you can't really fit the tile, you don't want that tile for whatever reason, none of the wooden pieces help you, you may simply discard one of these and take a victory point instead of placing the wooden element or the tile into your personal network. And those are the rules for Traintopia. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just restart this room, and let's look at the chat here and see if we have any questions from people. Feel free to ask any questions if you have them. I can't promise that we will be able to get to all of them. Okay, here we have a question from someone. Is the objective hidden? Yes, it is hidden. I'm going to play with my objective face up on the screen, just so that you can see it, but otherwise it would be hidden. So when you're drawing an objective the first time, just use the draw option to draw one into your hand so that it's hidden from the other players. I
think Philip's been good as well in replying to the questions, some of the questions there in the chat room.
All right. So let's go ahead and set up the starting. So let's see who is the first player. So my components are here on the left, and Stella, yours are on the right. Mm-hmm. I flipped over my card.
I am.
You have the conductor on yours, yes. So you are the first player.
Woo-hoo.
And as part of the setup at the beginning of the game, there are a few tiles that are added here in the middle. I'm going to zoom in on those. And we get to basically draft 2 of these now. Because I'm the last player, I get first choice of this. Mm-hmm. Then Stella will draft 2, I get the second one. And then once we've drafted these 2, they are added to our network.
Question, before you do that, do we see our objective cards first?
Yes, we should get those.
Excellent.
So we'll go ahead and draw one.
I do as well.
And
just for the purpose of this game, we just revealed it.
Yep. So as you can see, my requirement is that I need to have one of each color commuter on 2 different tracks, and if I manage to do that, I will score 5 victory points.
Yes. So I have tourist distraction, 9 of them in my network.
Yep. And you get to choose which type of district.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, not this. It's 9 different. Let me just bring this one up. So this is 9 different attractions. Yes, you're right. And it can be any combination of them. I think I'm going to draft this particular tile because since I want to place commuters, I want to have one that gives me a lot of options for scoring victory points for that.
Good point. I think I want to take this one. I've got this end bit, but I'm still not sure where to place it. So I'm going to start with this one with also a tourist attraction. Maybe I'll end up with that. Who knows? We'll see.
Yep. I'll take that. You get to draft the second one as well. So you can take that tile if you would like.
Okay. So just depending on what one you're gonna take.
Yeah, but it's a snake draft, so you get your choice now, and then I get the last one.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I'll take that.
All right, and I will take this one, and I'm gonna zoom in now to my tableau here, so that you can. I'm also gonna save this as a view in here. All right. So now I need to decide how I want to rotate these. Oops. I think I'm going to place this one right here. And maybe if I place this tile over here on the side, I'm hoping to be able to build a little U-turn there. So.
Very good. I'm just deciding where to place it now. I'm going to do that. And just like make sure it's aligned with this one. I'll deal with this later.
Yeah, while you're placing your tiles, I can go ahead and get things set up for the round.
Sure.
So as we look over here, we have the current card says that we're going to have 1 tourist and 1 meeple, a train, and a mailbag. So I'm going to come over here, grab a tourist, a train, and a mailbag. And then we need to put those out here. And then we need to draw a random commuter from the bag, and this happened to be a gray one. And then it says here in a 2-player game we need 5 tiles. And I think this was shuffled before, but I'm just going to go ahead and shuffle it. Take 5 of these tiles and lay them out. All right.
How do you grab a few tiles at the same time? Sorry.
So to grab multiple tiles at the same time, if I hover over this this stack and then I scroll up, then it gives me the option. I should also say, because we're doing a 2-player game, so normally there are 9 cards in this stack. I need to remember to remove 1 from the game. So this tile or this round card is not going to be part of the game. All right, and Stella, you are the current first player, so you get first choice of these different elements to draft.
Yes. So I'm going to start collecting those tourist attraction.
Yep.
I will do with this straight line one.
All right, and I think I'm going to, again, I'm trying to maximize the points. And remember how I said I wanted a U-turn one? I'm going to take this tile, and let's go over here and place it, and that will fit absolutely perfectly right there. That's exactly what I was hoping for.
Perfect.
And then we are back to you, Stella, get to draft something.
Yep. 9, I don't know if 9, I haven't had these objectives before, so I don't know if 9 is going to be easy or not. And this just need to be in just the one network, or...
So your card, network. Yes, your card says 9 within your entire network. So right now...
Right.
Right now you have, let's zoom in there for people
1,
as well.
2, 3.
Yep, you have 3 of them right now. So you're a third of the way there.
I'm good. Okay, I'll take this one then.
All right. Now, I think that, let's go back and see here. I would like to either connect here, and right now I have 4 tiles. Maybe I want to connect a tile, maybe loop around there. That would be really good. But at the same time, I also know how important it is to get these mailbags. I think I'm going to take that mailbag for now and simply put it on this. I'm planning on making a long track right here.
Yeah. That's a good point. So there's not particularly anything here that I want and the tiles, and nothing grabbed my attention immediately. So I'm going to take the train.
All right.
Oops, not the whole lot. Thank you.
And I think that this tile would fit in my network. Actually, it will not. We can see. So this tile, it's not quite. I could place it here, maybe rotate it. Otherwise, it's mirrored. It's not exactly what I was hoping for. You know what? I think right now I have quite a few of these gray tiles already. So I think I'm simply going to take this gray commuter and placing it in my network. So I'm just going to place it here on the track. And because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, this one does not count because it's not connected. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different gray districts. That means that I get to take a total of 4 victory points from the supply.
That's a good one.
All right, I'm just going to put this here on the side.
Yep. I will now take a tile. Adjust this a little bit. Rotate bits like so. Now, it's looking like I'm also collecting a lot of yellows there. So I'm hoping maybe the next time yellow might come up, and then I might put a yellow commuter, and then I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now there's one problem with the tile, the way it's placed. Currently
yes,
one...
sorry. Yep. Let me fix that. Thank you. There you go. Better.
And that's an example of just how you have to just keep an eye on the way that you rotate it.
All right. What not? Oh,
so
what
now
not
there are correct. Now there are 2 pieces left. I don't really have. I have this attraction right there, but that would only be 2 victory points. So I think I'm going to take this tile, adding it to my network. And even though this wasn't exactly the shape that I wanted, I think I'm going to place it maybe right here. Now if I can 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe I can get 5, 6, 7. This will be a little bit longer. Maybe I will make this part of another network later. Alright, we are now down to a single piece left, so we're simply going to discard this out of the view.
Yep.
We will draw another card from over here. And here we need to set up 2 of these. And we also need thank you. And then in a 2-player game, we need 6 tiles. So I'm going to come over here, and again, if you scroll up, then you can take multiple ones. We'll take 6 of them, placing them out right here. And let's flip them over. All right, what would I like to take from here? You know what? I think if I'm going to go back here to my screen, I need something that loops off to the side here, but I also need to start thinking about building another station. These gray commuters are not great because I already placed some of those.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to take this station. There are fewer stations than other tiles in the game. And let's rotate this one and place it up here. Maybe I will simply build my network up to this spot here.
It's not too bad. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's 5 VP if you have the train.
Yep.
Oh no, you've got the mailbag.
Yes,
so
I have the mailbag as well. Yes. So if I manage to expand this a little bit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at least. Maybe I can loop it out a little bit that way. And just as a reminder, size 7, that would give me normally 5, but because this one counts as any color starting station, that means that I would be able to get 7 victory points, or double that, 14, because of the mailbag.
Yeah. There's not a lot of money comes out yet on these tiles, isn't it, Raina?
There have not been, no.
Yeah, my train is just sitting there wanting money, being lonely.
Yeah.
Okay, my turn. I will take this grey one because why not? Maybe if I need to choose a grey commuter, I might be able to score more. Plus, this one has got this attraction. So
correct.
now
You're already well on your way to those 9 attractions that you need.
Hopefully. Let's see if I do that. Is it going to... Let me see what's the bonus tiles. Yeah, okay. I think that would be... Okay. Yeah, we'll see.
All right. And I think, based on what I was saying earlier, I need to expand this one, but I need to be a little bit careful. As you can see here in the corner, some of these tiles, like this tile, I cannot place because that would be an illegal placement right there. I need, in fact, none of these are really good for what I'm looking for. So I think I'm going to take this tile and we're going to rotate it, placing it this way, and hopefully I'll be able to now create a loop and come around this way with the tiles.
And I'm going to take this one because this has got the tourist attraction. And I'm going to
That's the one
loop
that I
it
wanted
out.
too.
Oh, sorry. There you go. It's not very precise. I can't really precise, but I think that's good enough.
Yep. All right. I mean, I could take another gray commuter and simply place it on this track right here for 3 victory points. I still need a lot of, and I've already committed basically to not connecting these. I'm instead going to go up here. And since my objective requires me to have gray, green, and yellow commuters, there are only 5 of each color. And right now that we've already had 3 of them out, so I'm going to take one of these and simply place it on this other track. So because I'm placing it here, on this track I have 1, 2, 3 different districts in gray color. And I will come up here and grab 3 victory points.
Now that you say that, I know that you might not want these tiles, so maybe I should just get these tiles. It might be a little, just a touch more useful to me than the other ones. Let's see. I will take probably... No, I'll take this one. The grey one. Oops, sorry. Let me adjust my screen. Now placement. I think I might need to open up another track for this one. Okay, let's do it like that.
All right. So now I'm actually going to take this tile, and I need to fit it somewhere in my network. Can't really fit it there. This is not a good placement because, again, I'm trying to loop back under here. So I'm simply going to extend this. Now, I'm going to be a little bit sneaky here because based on how I rotate this, so if I place it here, you see this attraction right there would only be adjacent to this track on the right. But by rotating this one and placing it over here, now that attraction is next to both this track and that track because it's diagonally adjacent. It will just maximize the opportunities for me to score. And now you have 2 choices left, Stella.
Very good. So I think I'm just going to take the grey one and try to score point.
Yeah.
Although it's not ideal. I was trying to add this tile here, but I couldn't make it work. So we'll need to be over here. And I also want to try Raina's trick to try to loop this one, hopefully to here.
Yeah.
We'll see. So there's 1, 2, 3. I believe 3 points.
You get 2 points, right? Because you have this gray district and then this one down there.
Oh, that's right, because this one is not.
Yeah, that one is not connected. So you would get 2 victory points from that.
That's okay. I'll take it. It's not always bad to have not that much victory point if I can do a few endgame victory point.
Correct.
Because then I get to choose the endgame bonus first.
Yep. And now normally we would, this would be the end of the round. Again, there's only 1 component left. We would draw another card. But let's go over to, and let's say that if we would have played another 6 rounds, then of course these round cards would all have been used up. And so let's go over to the endgame draft. So this one is already pre-populated for you, and let's zoom in here. Now, the one that has the fewest number of victory points is going to get first draft. If I go over to my action area here, I can see that I have a total of 7 victory points. And Stella, how many points do you have so far?
2.
You have 2 victory points.
Only
That
2,
means
yes.
that you are going to, you're going to get first choice of these ones. So, what
Would you like me to choose now?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll definitely take this one.
All right. So that one will
What's my
allow you
track?
to put it somewhere to complete one of your tracks.
Yeah.
And of the options that are left, I already have a mailbag on the longest track. Now, unfortunately, as we can see in my area, I'm not able to actually complete this track, so I'm not going to score any victory points for that particular track. But I think based on the options that I have, I think I'm going to take this railway inspector. Now, as I said previously, I can place it on any track, even if I have commuters there previously. And because this one is a unique color, it's purple and doesn't match the others in color, I can simply put it here, and then I can choose what I want to score. Now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 gray districts, I have 1, 2 green, and I have 2 yellow. So I'm going to decide to score the green districts for 4 more victory points.
Yep.
And again, I would just come and take these points. And let's go back in here. And at this point, this would be the end of the game, and we would go over the scoring. And just as a reminder, you will score each of your completed tracks. That means that they start and end with a station. You get more victory points for having different colored stations. Then you're going to count how many money tokens you have, unspent ones, that are still within your network, that are also adjacent to tracks where you have trains. Then we will look at who has the longest track. That person will get 6 victory points. If you have 3 or more players, you will get 3 victory points for being second. If you have 4 players, you will get 1 victory point for being third. And then you will also score victory points for completing your endgame objective. And that is Traintopia.
That's it.
Yeah.
Very good. Good explanation, Raina. I'm
Well,
going to take my
thank you.
victory point, by the way, so it looks a little bit better.
Yeah. So that's hopefully that gave all of you a bit of an overview into the rules of the game, how the game plays. We played 2 rounds there and also did the end game draft and so forth. So thank you, Stella, for joining me today. It was a pleasure to have you on the stream today. And thank you to all of you that have been watching. Right, so thank you again, Stella, and thank you to all of you who have been catching the stream. And we will see you
Thanks for having me.
inside Tabletopia.
Yeah.
Thank
See you
you.
then.
Bye.